What's going on, YouTube world? Saw a video this morning from one of our hobby heroes, Mr. Jeff Wilson, that to me, as a true collector for many, many moons, made no sense. Rare cards scare dealers, buyers, sellers, auction houses, card shops, anyone that's alive. Rare cards just frighten the knickers off of anyone. And these statements are legit lunacy. I get to a degree where card shops might not want to invest the capital into something that his description was like a Wemby Chronicles parallel to 5. Again, I don't know the market for that. There are enough similar things that are out there you can sort of get a feel for. There might not be a direct comp, which was like basically an infomercial, a low-key infomercial for market movers. I've brought that up several times. Looking up comps on eBay. Well, you can also look it up under the eBay sold listings as well. Because something like 6 months ago isn't necessarily ever going to be what a card's worth now, and to sort of misinform a customer that, guess what, this card only went for, again, let's use that Wemby Chronicles that he used, to 5. Let's say that thing went for 600 back in May. He's coming off an injury, or he's injured then, and now he's playing well after rehab surgery, whatever he had. If you think that comp is going to hold up, and that's what you're going to use your basis off of, this guy's here. Correct. If that's what you think, as a shop owner, as somebody who's an integral part, again, whether we like him or not, the views are there, and when people start talking about cards, that's one of the names that gets brought up. Him, Golden, Card Collector 2. Some of these guys that maybe we don't have the same viewpoints as, but they're literally the talking heads of our hobby space because of visibility and as Steve likes to always mention, how people love to build their brand. So that their word always sort of turns into the gospel, where this shouldn't be anything but, if I've got a rare card, and I'm going to give some examples, I know it's a shock. I actually wrote notes on the video this morning. Took a nap, that's why we're starting right on time. But let's say here I've got 2 of these delightful cards. They're both numbered to 5 of Dumba. I want to get the other 3. What Mr. Wilson fails to acknowledge, and again, it's too easy to acknowledge this on his part, is that you're going to go through multiple tiers of players. You're looking for Matt Dumba. You're looking for Josh Johnson. You're looking for Dennis Northcutt. One of my 18,462 PCs. More than likely, I'm not going to be spending a monthly down payment for a loft in Manhattan for a card. That's just, again, would I like to be at that level of I could buy something of that value? Sure, that'd be fun, but at the same time, that's not the way I collect. That's not the way I can collect feasibly without purging a bunch of stuff to acquire said card. So what if you would have mentioned in his video saying, hey, it's tough to comp out literally the GOATs, whatever the you harken back to the Beckett top 10 of days gone by. Yes, that it becomes tougher with rare cards. You still can do it though. That's the issue where instead of saying something to that degree, it's, well, we just want to get basically Prism Silvers and shockingly mentioned Downtowns, Kabooms, all the generic case hits of this era because they're not rare. There is, and I mean, it's almost shocking that last night we talked about this in the IRP, Insert Revolution podcast. Well, now it's going to be basketball season coming up. Naomi joined, and it's going to be a fun time because a lot of games are on Tuesday night, so every Tuesday night it's usually when we're at, but keep abreast of the placeholders. He doesn't mention, or we mentioned that last night. It's like you go to these card shows, you go to these card shops, and you see the same Kaboom, the Drake May, the Brock Bowers. You can find a Josh Allen, you can find a Mahomes. Case hits, they're not rare. If you see 10 at every show. What's going on, Paul? It's not something you're striving to find in the sense that it's something like this. Again, you look and it's like, yeah, Antoine Smith, Skip Hicks, but Star Quest, Rookie Quest Gold 100 out of a product nobody gave two craps about. So you're sitting there, that's 100. How many Kabooms do you think there are of Brock Bowers, Drake May, of these players? It's going to be more than 100. I hate to burst your bubble. So it becomes something where, once again, as we've said before, you're not giving the full, let me take a few steps back from this issue, this perceived issue, and say, well, I don't want to buy I don't know, like the Wemby Chronicles to 5, whatever something similar would be. I don't know. Whatever Panini nonsense they put out for some parallels, a hoops, whatever. It wouldn't matter. You're not comparing in a normal year an NT patch auto to 5, the RPA parallel, and the Chronicles. That's apples to oranges. I know. We'll up quickly. it's possible to, again, comp these out in a way that's feasible. Yeah, you're going to have the seller that's probably going to be into it for X amount. You want to get the good deal. There's no comps. There's Wemby to 5. Look up a Wemby to 5. Look up a TD to 25 if you can't. Again, you might find something 10 years ago that sold, but that's it. You're going to have to do something and then compare and contrast with the players. Like, okay, if an Emmett went for this much, a Barry Sanders went for this much. Again, not to the same class, but Fred Taylor, Jerome Bettis. Let's see where these running backs of that era were for this card. A Madonna to 10. Well, it didn't go for this much. Well, how much is a Hull? How much is a Yzerman? Bure, Messier. Let's go in that that tumbler and figure things out, because if the two parties are really interested in making a deal can be made. You might be high on your card because it's your card. You value it. Obviously, you value it to a degree where you might think, okay, I got it at 600. I don't think it's going to be a $3,000 card number to 5 of Wemby out of Chronicles. Would I say 1,000? That's fair. 1,200, yeah, we're pushing the top end there. But to sit there and say that everybody's scared of rare cards, I mean, there's one of the first things our good friend says, rare cards can be the most valuable. They can also be very, very difficult to sell. They scare dealers, they scare card shops, they scare collectors away. And that's completely not true. Collectors, myself, Steve, Carlos, Vinny, Brad, Michael, there's gonna be times when we might be a little trepidatious about a purchase or like a price. The one thing we've got that a lot of folks that have re-entered the space in the last 5 years is we do know where something was at when Beckett meant something, when the price guides meant something. We do know what values on some cards like that, or something we've looked at over the years. If it's something that we haven't ever come across, and it's within our price range, or something we're like, okay, some odd formula of years since the set was issued, times like an original price, or divided by like the original price times like whatever the serial number is. Some kind of oddball mathematical nonsense where, again, paying $45 for a North Cut to 8. It's like somebody would say that's absolutely absurd. If I haven't seen something in 25 years, $45, even for my limited funds that I can dump into the hobby, that's a drop in the ocean. It's something where I'm willing to make that play, as it were, because it's a card I've never seen of one of the guys I collect. Stupid heavy. For Wemby, that's in his class. I don't even know who it would be. you'd have to go outside of the class in trying to determine who it would be. I mean, you'd be like, well, Zion, but Zion's hurt. I mean, he gets hurt opening up a package of ramen soup. I'd have, again, not knowing or not recalling at the moment who's, give me the last 5 draft classes, or at least 3 outside of Cooper Flag and Wemby. Like what guys would be in that realm, and Flag isn't even in that realm yet. He's just the latest #1 overall pick. You picked up on it, Scott. You did. So, I mean, even like you could be Giannis. That's in the same vein, but I think a Giannis to 5 rookie parallel, which there weren't many out there, I don't believe, because of there being no Chronicles back in the day. And again, after 12 years of being out, that's going to be a lot. Well, Bronny James is in a class of his own. That's foolhardy to even want to compare anyone to him. You can make the comparison. Again, if it's a comma card, it's going to be tough. Because again, those funds are always something where if you're dedicating that much money, you want to make, in your opinion, a purchase that makes sense. Like, I'm paying a lot for this card. I know it hasn't come up. I've seen it once. That was in 2000 whatever. I'm willing to pay. And if you are willing to pay, like, I wouldn't say current market, but I mean the mark up after the last several years of COVID-inspired hobby excitement. But basically what the video was this morning was just a market movers ad, scare tactics. It doesn't make sense. If you really are interested in a rare card, and I'm talking a serial number card. He also brought up a 1914 Baltimore Press Babe Ruth, talking about one that went for like 7 million in 2023, and one that went for 4 million last month, 2 months ago, somewhere in there. And saying that could be the biggest loss ever. It could be. In the same vein, we aren't comparing something you get out of NT, something you got out of Exquisite, something you got out of National Treasure, NT, Immaculate, Impeccable, something where it was a transcendent, something that was a top-notch product that was expensive. Old school, old Leaf Limited, like the 03, 04 years. There are not many multi-million-dollar cards from the last, 50 years? Comparative, again, to everybody's precious pre-war vintage. And again, that's like super duper pre-war. That's pre-Afghanistan. That's pre-Iraq. That's pre-Vietnam. That's pre-Korea. That's pre-World War II. It's like pre. That's like your SSSSS pre-war. And it not being an actual card, it's there's a lot of factors with that that come into play that, again, aren't mentioned. It's just the fact of not giving all the information in a way that collectors would realize, well, yeah, if it's a $4 to $7 million card, that isn't really a card, it's like a press clipping. It makes it a not as big of a deal because a lot of folks don't have that, or the folks that do, maybe they don't want another. Maybe, again, if it's like some ridiculously, if Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, any of those guys that have money just spilling out of their refrigerators, we're huge Yankees fans, huge sports collectors. That would be something they could get in on. Like, oh, I've got 2 copies of that now because it's rare and I love Babe Ruth, whatever the case may be. But once you get some of those grails, a lot of the collectors are not like Benny and I, where we'd like multiple copies. And it doesn't behoove your budget to buy multiple copies of multiple $1 million cards. That doesn't work for 99.99% of us. So, should rare cards scare anyone? No. Thank you, Brian. They shouldn't. Should you use caution? Yeah. Don't just go in buying something all willy-nilly, but at the same time, don't sit there and be like, well, this is number to 5, I don't have a chance at it. If you talk, and whoever you're talking with, a dealer, a card shop owner, a fellow collector, you're just like, okay, this guy wants $2,000 for this card, I want to pay like $750. I don't think we're going to meet anywhere. I mean, it's worth a shot, document it, and then move on, because it wasn't meant to be. If something sells for a stupid amount and you're like, that's ridiculous, notate it and move on. But don't be scared. Don't be scared of a card. Come on. That's some of the most ridiculous verbiage and lingo I've heard in the space in quite a while. Dealers / card shop owners will not be as apt to buy them, because I think the only thing that he said that was valid was, yeah, you're looking for more, quote unquote, and we said it too, liquid cards. You're looking for stuff that you can sell quick. Again, the turnaround is what you want in the business. You don't want to be sitting on a showcase that has the same 60 cards. 60 of them are out there, 30 are moving. We're sitting and constantly shuffling those other 30 because you can't move them because they're too rare. It's at the point where you need to know your collecting base. And this is sort of a thing where we've said it before on the IRP. Build those relationships with these people. Build friendships. So if you see a specific card of a player, you see a Pronk logo man, you see a Jim Thome patch tattoo, you see a Vlade Divac auto patch to 10. You're like, okay, I like the card, it's a cool card, I'd like to get it. I really know who would really want that. And that's what we've done. We've done that at the IRP for a number of years. I know on our own, before the IRP, that's what we did. We just, our memories are pretty decent in that regard. So I'm not saying card shop owners and all these influencers that are going around the country to every card show every weekend, throwing up exclamation points, are gonna do. But you have to know, like, hey, If I can't make a deal for this Wemby, I know a collector out there that may have some interest. Let me get you in touch with them. So, and that sort of builds the goodwill there. People always say, well, then it makes more deals for them. It's like, well, that does. But then, even if they're not true to their, like, they really care about that, at least for some people, it shows that, hey, at least you're looking out for me. And again, that some people buy into it, others, you really have to show it. And that, I know a lot of us are like that. You can't just be like, well, I'm going to kick this can down the road to get something in the end. It's like, no, I don't want anything in the end. I just want to make sure this card goes there, not because of that's where it's supposed to go. It's because that's where I think it needs to go. So don't be scared of rare cards. It's nonsense. Never be afraid to make an offer on a rare card. Always be willing to talk with whoever's got that card. So in the end, you're not left wondering if there's no deal made, because that's the worst when or your dollar's off. The stupid negotiation where you feel like, oh man, you want 60 for this card? Would you do 55? Just do the 60, take it, so you don't get a Starbucks coffee the next morning for that $5. If that really comes down to that, just do your due diligence. And a lot of us do, because we are true collectors. It's not somebody that's going out there trying to find a fancy card to flip. We're those opportunities come along, that's great. But at the same time, be true to what you know. And overextending yourself doesn't work real well. But in the end, don't be afraid of rare cards. Don't be afraid of cards you can't find a comp for, because they're that rare. You can look up a 101, look up to 5, look up whatever. You can do apples to oranges, but you'll get a better baseline than just throwing out a number. So again, if you want to go watch that Jeff Wilson video, it's up. It was posted earlier today. I think the Jeff Wilson show. Don't like promoting, but again, where you're seeing where I'm coming from with some of this verbiage in my notes. You can go watch it yourself and just sort of see where being a true collector of literally junk, but fun junk. See where my mindset was when I saw that this morning. Shook my head several times, because again, it's interesting. So you don't have to watch all of it, because again, it does, like this, get repetitive. But that's how I am. Repetitiveness. My job is to be repetitive. So IRP every Tuesday night. Sort of. It's going to be up in the air for the basketball season. Check the placeholder to see the time. This too. Use the old who wants to be a millionaire. Phone a friend. Because sometimes you can be like, well, what does this price seem? If you're I've done that with people before too, and I'm not going to sit there and beat my chest, but there's been a lot of times of, hey, what's this price? This price a good price? I know you know. It's like, okay, look at the price. Yeah, that's solid. That's something I would pay if I were you. If I had your money as my money, I would buy that. So use the connections you've built into your friendship. A lot of folks out there are always going to be there for the people that are true friends in the hobby. So don't discount that. Just don't do it at like 2 in the morning. Well, unless you're Paul and Vinny not being able to sleep. So with that, again, IRP, watch a placeholder going forward. So every Tuesday night, maybe Wednesday, 8:05 p.m. ish Central Time. Join us. Food, fun, friendship, ripping on people, taking our L's, getting a couple dubs. So remember, collecting rare cards can be fun and obtainable, but the friendships you forge along the way, that's what really matters. Take care, everyone.